Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day, whether y'all are watching this in the morning, afternoon, or in the evening. I'm glad you're here. First thing I want to do is thank all the channel members. Thank you guys so much. And thank any of you who come in for the first time, for the second time, and checked out my knife, my ADC content. I appreciate you watching. And if you haven't had a chance and are so inclined, I would appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button and the bell notification icon. It does really help me out. So today I was going to kind of step back in time a little bit for all practical purposes. These aren't new knives. I was going to go through my top 5 USA made Benchmades, kind of like Spyderco's, which I featured a couple of days, about a week ago. I don't give them enough really time on the channel, and these are knives that were at one time grails, are still great knives that have stayed in my collection, like this Benchmade Freek here, and M4. Just a great full-size knife. Has no side-to-side, perfect lockup, absolutely a laser beam, and just a great knife. Doesn't get enough attention. Could be somebody's, including me's, only knife. It's a fantastic one, but it's not going to be in my top 5. We'll call this an honorable mention. And I'm going to start out with number 5. And number 5 is my Benchmade Vallet. The Benchmade Vallet is a unique little knife that I actually traded with Brother Dark Gravity for this little knife. I did not know this little knife existed. It was later, not later, but it was well into my knife collecting when I picked this little guy up. I think I traded a Demco 80-20.5. I can't remember exactly. Dark Gravity might remember. But it is a great little gentleman's folder. Uses the Benchmade's Axis lock, the first to bring the Axis lock or bar style lock to market. This is a small one. I also have a mini 940. I have a mini Griptilian. I have a mini Bugout. This little knife is a mini, and it's about the same size as those knives, but I prefer it. I prefer it because it's unique. It's M390. Benchmade does M390 very well from what I've been able to tell by putting this on a stone myself, by using it. It's a great little folder. It's very easy to manipulate with the thumb studs, whether you thumb flick it, their placement's perfect, or for the reverse flick, takes very, very little, and it's very snappy. G10 handles, again, M390 blade. You've got this nice kind of drop point, spear point style blade. And again, Benchmade's tried and true, used to be patented Axis lock. Perfectly centered, fantastic little specimen. My number 5 favorite Benchmade is this gray Benchmade Vallet. So moving on, we come to number 4. Number 4 is my mini Adamas, my mini camouflaged Adamas, because it's wearing AWT scales, Applied Weapons Tech scales. This knife for a mini is an absolute full-sized, medium to large size knife for me. This is probably one of my beefiest Benchmades. I'm going to call it my second beefiest, but definitely my most tactical. This is the Siebert collaboration, CPM Crewwear treated blade. Very, very thick blade that you could jam into all kinds of different materials, but it also will shred paper, shred cardboard. It's a great camp knife. It's a great hiking knife. It's a great self-defense knife. I like the mini Adamas in its pure form, but I really was not a fan of those speed holes. I like a solid scale, and these gunmetal gray aluminum scales from AWT, Applied Weapons Technology, just fit perfectly, lined up with the liners perfectly. It's got a deep carry clip. Great little swedge there in the blade, little blood groove, if you want to call it that. Nice sharpening choil. Super, super toothy edge. I mean, that's one thing I love about Benchmades. They are such toothy edges. But coming in at number 4, my top 5 is the Benchmade Mini Adamas. This one's wearing advanced weapons technology scales in sniper gray. I'm a big fan. Moving on, we come to number 3. Number 3 was my first Grail knife. A lot of people talk crap about this knife, and I get it. For me personally, that's why I love the knife game, because everybody's different. This was a Grail of mine. This is the first Grail that I actually picked up. Picked it up from Knife Works. No fault of theirs. It got stuck in the mail. Took like 11 days to get here. Got this about 2 years ago. It was traumatic. Knock on wood, I have not lost a knife in shipping. I have lost a set of scales. Null Knives, bless their hearts and thank their great customer service. We lost a set of scales in shipping, but that's been it. This guy went missing, but I love the Osborne Benchmade 940. It should actually be higher on this list, but as I rediscover these knives and carry these knives, I realize how good they really are. I've got the 945, which is the mini in the old green. This is the OG green, what I call it, the original pattern. It's S30V, which for me is fine steel. It has got a thicker grind, but that thicker grind, guys, cuts just fine. And if you want to talk about bite into material, this has not hit a stone on my watch, and I bought it new, so this is factory edge. And yes, it's thicker. Blade geometry's not ideal for slicing, but it's definitely ideal for saving Slurpees. It's definitely ideal for working around horse hooves. I think that was the design of this knife, to be the perfect ranch knife that you could treat horse hooves, clean them out. That's why the tip's the way that it is. It makes for a great detail cutter. It makes for a nice finesse cutter. You can definitely lay this edge back. I haven't done that yet. Can't lay it back too aggressively, but I wouldn't mind bringing it to 17 degrees. That might be something to do down the road. But to be honest with you, it cuts just fine. Just like the Valet, the thumb studs are positioned perfectly right up alongside the aluminum frame. The knife flies out, perfectly centered. I love the purple backspacer. The 945, the shorty, has purple standoffs. Black deep carry clip. This is the Benchmade Osborne, coming in at number 3. I think it's a winner. It's one of my favorites. I think it does the butterfly justice. So we will move on and we will come to number 2. Guys, this knife probably gets more crap, but it is what it is. And I love mine. I use it. I've put it through several different iterations. It's in its final resting place. This particular Bugout is. This is the Blade HQ Special Edition G10. They came with ivory G10 or gray G10 and 20 CV. You could either get the stonewash blade or the black blade. I got the stonewashed. I immediately switched the scales for some different scales. I think they were micarta. And then I found these Mettenboss scales. And once I got the Mettenboss scales, this knife lived in my pocket. Got a short, deep carry clip. I think that even came with the Bugout. It is in 20 CV. It's got a thin blade with a really nice grind. Again, aggressive. Probably 400 or up on the grit. You can hear it cutting through that paper. Where some of those knives, when we do some therapeutic cutting, you don't hear the noise. That's still making a clean cut. It's just showing me that it's got a higher or lower grit finish. That was a cut of air. But yeah, it's the Bugout is light. The Bugout is thin. There are a lot of contenders for the Bugout now. A lot of other knives, from the Civivi Quebec to TRM, bringing out some bangers that I prefer over the Bugout. But the Bugout kind of brought the light knife into my realm, right? I've only been doing this for a little over 2 years, falling in love with knives that I don't need. And the Benchmade Bugout was one that I had to have. Started out, I was going to get just the 535, I think it is, the white and black. And then I saw on it was my first year collecting, it was Black Friday Blade HQ had a sale, and they had their custom model, which again had an ivory handle or a gray handle. The green thumb studs and the 20 CV, and they had them marked up like $15 from the base bug out with the white. So I went with the upgrade, and I'm glad I did, because it made for a great platform to mod. These meet and boss or met and boss scales are fantastic. The detent's fantastic on it. It's super light, super comfortable in the hand, fits my hand great. I can wear it in sweatpants because, again, it takes up no weight. That's number 2. We'll look at number 1, and then we'll give them all a go over. And maybe we'll dive into a full Benchmade overview. At some point, we'll have to empty the cases and do a case at a time and just look at knives, because I'm going to miss so many. But anyway, this is number 2 in the Benchmade lot, and it is the Benchmade full-size Bugout, which brings us to there can only be one number 1. And guys, for Benchmade, by my standards, and I think if you let anyone handle this knife that didn't get a lot of circulation, they will agree that the Benchmade Mini Locos in S30V is the quintessential Benchmade hard use EDC knife. You've got this banana shape, that's probably not the terminology, this handgun shaped handle that gives you some natural curvature, puts the butt of the grip into your hand. You've got this wonderful clip point, drop point blade. You've got this familiar opening mechanism here, this oval. This is the first production test run, and if you look at it closer, I think we learn that this is 933 out of 1,000. So it looks like they made 1,000 of these. And this one's number 933 of the first production. They made more. And then under the S30V, you've got benchmade.com/pat. So I guess there's some kind of patent up here that they applied for. But what I can say is it came with the deep carry clip. It has a lanyard tube. Really nice lanyard tube if you want to use it. For me, it fits my hand perfectly. Goes in and out of pocket like a dream. I should have shown you on all these. But you can simply just push it down in your pocket. You can simply pull it out of your pocket because it's got that short clip. Does really well. It is a thick blade, so when we get it open, you'll notice that we're working with, I'm going to guess we're working with the thickest stock. We're going to do a little fun test and see if this is thicker than the Adamas. 0.1450. .425, 4.440. So this one is bigger, like I thought. The Mini Locos is going to have thicker blade stock by just a smidge. So it will be our number 1 will be our beefiest Benchmade, but that's not why it's number 1 to me. It's got an amazing, amazing sharpening choil. Has an amazing flat grind blade. It's done exceptionally well. You've got a nice sharpening choil, great grip, great action from that axis lock. You've got perfectly centered blade. You've got a very snappy deployment method, employing the oval hole. I think it's a thick oval hole. You have no fear of getting your finger stuck in it because it's one of those shallow holes, and it's done like a jelly bean, I guess we could call it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to slip just one piece of paper out of this stack and not pull out like 13, so I apologize. This guy is very toothy, but it's therapeutically toothy. It is great, believe it or not, for as thick as it is, for breaking down cardboard. It has broken down a lot of cardboard. The Benchmade Mini Locos, I've never seen, I need to go back and look or ask Zach about it on his live Sunday. I've never seen a Benchmade Locos. I don't know what a bigger version of this would be. This is no longer in production, but you can still find them new in stock. Just Google, and I'll leave these in the description, Benchmade Mini Locos, and you'll find some out in the wild. I picked this one up at St. Nick's Knives, at the St. Nick's Knives store in Huntsville, Alabama. It was probably the second Benchmade I ever purchased. The first Benchmade I purchased was my mini Griptilian with the finger hole, because the first knife I bought when I bought knives again was a Spyderco Dragonfly. I bought my first probably 4 or 5 knives from St. Nick's in the mall here in real close to my hometown. So number 5, we've got the Benchmade Mini Adamas, or excuse me, the Benchmade Mini Locos. We have got Benchmade 940. We have got everybody's favorite, often copied, never conquered, the Benchmade Bugout. We've got my slightly modded Benchmade Mini Adamas, or Adamas. We've got my buddy Dark Gravity's trade knife, the little Benchmade Vallet, an M390, Crewwear, 20CV, S30V, S30V. And then we have our honorable mention in M4, which I'll be honest with you, if I had to go camping and I had to grab one of these knives, I might not grab one of my favorite knives, if you know what I mean. All these knives are great, guys. But guys, I appreciate you taking the time. Let me know if you like these grouping videos, if you like looking at collections in the collection in little parts of how I kind of acquired it and how I keep them together. I think it makes for good content. Freshens the content up. I've got to redo some of my Hinderer, some of my Benchmade individual videos. I went back when I first shot them. They're only like 2 or 3 minutes. I should be able to tell you guys 10 minutes worth of facts about this knife. So we'll try some of those again. Try to get into some, not always the newest stuff. Fill it in with some of the classic stuff that's still out there, that's still available, that's still well worth your time. Guys, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for taking the time. Do me a huge, huge favor, and please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Please look out for each other. Go forward with love in your heart. And please, choose debate, not hate. I love you all. Tomorrow night, I can't say that. I'm filming this, but it's not going to go till Saturday morning. So I hope you had a good time at Friday Night Flicks last night. We had a blast. I love you all. Peace.